You know, they don't admit like, oh, I got struggles and problems and know I'm going through something bad. And
right.
You know, that's what, you know, blessed are the poor in spirit. When we know we need the Lord and we know we're going through situations that we can't deal with ourselves, and we know that we have to have Him, and we're weak and His strength is made perfect in our weakness, that's when, you know, the blessing occurs. But I'm going to be traveling out of, I got a New King James Bible, and I'm going to be reading some in Mark chapter 2. And then we'll travel over to probably Matthew and Hosea also. So this is Mark chapter 2. And again, he entered Capernaum after some days, and it was heard that he was in the house. Immediately, many gathered together so that there were no longer room to receive them, not even near the door. Kind of like this room in here. And he preached to them. He preached the word to them. Then they came to him, bringing a paralytic who was carried by 4 men. And when they could not come near him because of the crowd, they uncovered the roof where he was. So when they had broken through, they let down the bed on which the paralytic was lying. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, "Son, your sins are forgiven you." And some of the scribes were sitting there and reasoning in their hearts, "Why does this man speak blasphemies like this? Who can forgive sins but God alone?" But immediately, when Jesus perceived in his spirit that they reasoned thus within themselves, he said to them, "Why do you reason about these things in your hearts? Which is easier, to say to the paralytic, 'Your sins are forgiven you,' or to say, 'Arise, take up your bed and walk'? But that you may know that the Son of Man has power on earth to forgive sins." He said to the paralytic, "I say to you, arise, take up your bed, and go to your house." Immediately he arose, took up the bed, and went out in the presence of them all, so that all were amazed and glorified God, saying, "We never saw anything like this." So I usually don't title sermons or do nothing like that. I just speak on it, but this is actually the very first sermon that I ever wrote when I was in Teen Challenge, or, you know, jotted down years ago, and I've never preached it. I never go back to all the sermons I've written and ever pull one out and preach it. I've never did that since I've been speaking. But I just felt led this time to, you know, talk about this, especially the environment that, you know, you fellas are in, along a lot of brothers and being in a place. But I know this is a word for everybody. But I got some notes written down about that chapter, just that 4 men carried a paralyzed man, climbed a roof, and even used their hands to dig through the roof to lower the man down to Jesus. And that man wasn't going anywhere by himself. But with 4 brothers of faith, he was lowered down to the feet of Jesus. And then my question is, are we surrounded